Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day. Today we had an awesome day in the AJT education community. Nailed a pretty good trade, which we're going to talk about here in a bit, um, which is taking us into, Thanksgiving we got tomorrow. Um, and that's going to be my last day trading for the week. You know, so things are looking pretty decent for this week. I'm not going to do anything stupid tomorrow to mess it up, that's for sure. So, looking forward to going into Thanksgiving, relatively green here. So I wanted to share this with you. It's not about who you think you are. It's about who you want to become and the price you're willing to pay to get there. And the reason I say it's not about who you think you are is because too often who we think we are limits our ability for success. If we think we're dumbass, then guess what? That's what we're going to be. That's what we're going to act like. If we think that we're slow and untalented, then that's what we're going to be. We're going to set goals based on who we think we are. And we limit ourselves to our perception of who we think we are. And as I think back, I can't imagine where I would be right now if I had looked at myself as a person that had a learning disability and then set my lifelong goals based on that. It wasn't until I was in college that I was diagnosed with dyslexia. And back then when I was in school, there wasn't a whole lot of research done on learning disability. If you had a learning disability, you were categorized and, excuse the improper political correctness, but, back then there was no such thing. And we were just called retarded. And that's the first thing that came to my mind when they told me, that I had dyslexia. But my English teacher, the one that, saw that I had a problem, she told me right there that, hey, don't let this stop you. She's like, you're special. For you to come through and graduate and be in the in the top third of your class, you did not let your disability hold you back. You adapted. You knew something was wrong, but you did what you had to do good in school. Both my parents were teachers, and they would not accept C's. So the harder I studied early on, the worse grades I got. So I had to adapt. And I did it on my own, and I made it through high school, got into college. But if I had kept this perception of myself, there's no way I could be here right now. That doesn't mean I couldn't have a dream of, living on the beach, waking up, deciding to go sailing that day, come back, go fishing and just relax. I could still have that dream. But in my mind, it would be unattainable because of my disability. But the reality is, we are all, powerful beyond measure. We have greatness in us. We just have to activate it. And unless we activate it, unless we change that mindset that we have, or anything that we feel is a limitation, we turn that into a positive. We have to activate that greatness that's within us. We have to make that decision to be powerful, to use what we have, to start where we are with what we have and make it happen. Make the decision not to accept what you see in the mirror right now, because who you see right now is not the person that you're gonna be. I think E.T. says it best when he says, who we are now. I can't even remember it now. It just hit me. Who we want to be, we're now becoming. That's what he says. So who we see right now is not who we want to be. But that person is inside of us. And we have to activate that greatness that's down inside of us. There's greatness in us. And that's what we have to bring out. So just think about that. That's what I had to do. I accepted average. I accepted living the life that I was living, but I knew that there was more in me. I knew there was greatness in me. I knew that I could achieve the goals and start to build a life that I want to build. Now, I'm not there yet. I got a long way to go to get to where I want to be. But I've got a timeline, and I'm making strides every day, every week toward getting that goal. But what really empowers me, what really motivates me, is the ability that I have to help other people achieve the same dream. That's what wakes me up in the morning. That's what keeps me up at night. It's midnight. I still got another hour and a half, maybe 2 hours to go. That's what keeps me up. People in Hong Kong and Australia, in the UK, in New Zealand, that I have to stay up to 2-3 o'clock in the morning, to have sessions with them, or I have to wake up at 4. That's what I do. I enjoy it. And it's just that teacher. And if you're not a teacher, you really wouldn't understand what I'm talking about. But just believe me, it's something that it helps bring the greatness out of me and helps make me strive to continue to be better so that I can help others, achieve the same goals and dreams that I've achieved that they may have for themselves. So it's just a great time, in my life right now. So let's take a look at the trades from the day. We traded one stock, SIG, and this was a big gap down. And we're looking at the daily chart. And one of the things that come to mind, and this is what really causes us to lick our lips, is when we see a gap here. Here we gapped up. We had a huge gap. And we have not traded in this zone since that gap. We pulled back and held this here as support and drove up off of it. Now here we had this huge gap down, and we fell into this gap. So, I'm thinking this is a pretty huge gap. 6 points or so, or 7. I'm not going to think that we've already gapped down big time. I'm not thinking we're going to close up this whole gap. I'm looking for about half. So what I do is I look at these levels and I use these as profit targets. Okay, that's how I take profit. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But that's why I draw these pivots. I'm looking for pivot points on the daily chart. These are areas on the chart where a stock changed direction. Here we pull back. This is where we bounce. Where we bounce for me is a pivot. Here is a pivot. Now, if you're in the room and you see me trade off of these every day, and you see, how these pivots really hold up intraday. these stocks, these are supply zones. These are places where buyers and sellers hang out. And you can identify it by watching the price action when you hit these levels. So we know, that these pivot points are solid. And these are solid areas where I take profit, because this is a potential area where stocks can change direction intraday, because these are supply zones. So, sometimes you'll say, well, you took profit too early. Not really. My goal is to take profit and lock in at different strategic points on the chart. It may be early to you. That's fine. That's how you trade. And I'm not saying that you're wrong, because you have to trade and you have to do what's comfortable and what feels good to you. For me, I have to do what's comfortable and what feels right to me. So I like buying into weakness when I'm covering my position. As we're falling through these levels, this is where I like to buy, because you don't know if the buyers are just going to come in and you have a whole bunch of buyers here and it throws this thing back the other way. And if you don't lock in profit, you may miss your opportunity altogether. And what not only does this help me lock in profit, but it helps me with my patience. I was never a very patient person. So obviously day trading, you need incredible patience. So a person that's not really patient may have issues or will have issues. So I didn't accept that. I knew that I had to fix that about me. And I had to come up with a strategy that's going to help me be patient and allow these trades to work. And I'm not going to be greedy and sit here and hold this trade to try to get all the way down. I'm going to lock in profit along the way, because oftentimes we don't get a move like this. This only happens, once every blue moon. So, we have to be prepared. And even when this does happen, there's no rule that says we can't get back in and continue to take this move down. So I'm going to buy into weakness, because the stock is going to reverse. You just don't know where it's going to reverse. All right, so here's SIG. Here is the last candle before the open. I have a hard time reading DOS charts. That's why I use Thinkorswim, because pre-market is shaded. And I can easily tell when the first 5-minute candle prints. Here, and this is where I run into problems a lot. And I kind of ran into this problem yesterday, where I'm looking at the DOS chart and I think this is the first 5-minute candle, because you can almost see that this lines up. It's real close. And and I'm supposed to wear glasses, but I don't. And this can really be kind of skewed. So I could think this is the candle and I go jump in on, early. That's what happened yesterday. So this line here is helping me see that this is the last candle prior to open. Anything to the right of this is the open. So here we open up, we print this big indecision candle. Now we've been selling off all, coming into the open. We did get a bounce, back up to the VWAP here, and it got rejected. So automatically I'm going to use the body here, because we went up, we rejected, we've got the 9 and the VWAP coming in hard. So the 9 is the shorter term trend. So the shorter term trend is really pushing it down. So looking for the sell-off at open. I get short right here on the close of this 5-minute opening range candle. I didn't wait for the low. I waited for the close. Once we broke through the low and we got close to this 57.90 91 level, I took some at 58. I took half at 58. Got in at 58.83. Took half at 58. Took a quarter off at 57. Then the next $half mark. That was kind of halfway between here and to 57. I took right here on this level here, which was 56, I think 95. This one I took halfway between these two levels because this is just typically what I do. I took it halfway between at 56. I mean at, what was it? Yeah, 56. And then ended up stopping out at 56.46 up here. As we pull back. So I took 1, 2, 3, 4 covers on this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which, this was pulling back. So it's only smart to get out, wait for the rejection, and get back in. And that's exactly what I did. I got out, locked in this profit. This was awesome. What if I didn't take this off and I was just holding for this? I may still have been in this trade, but look how long it would have taken me to get there. And in all of this time, I was able to get in one more trade here. I got a move down and ended up stopping out at break even here. Got another trade and we got to move down. And I took another piece off here. And then this candle, this is crazy. This candle, I was waiting. We didn't close above the 9. Here we opened on it, pushed up. So I'm waiting for this candle to close. Now, had we closed above the 9, I would have gotten out on this candle anyway. But this candle ran up. I had a hard stop in at 56. I got in here at 56.20 over here. I took half off at 55.25 and then 55.05 because we couldn't get through 55. We just had a hard time. And then, of course, the next candle I get out, it hits my target. But, that's fine. It was only like 10 or 15 cents I gave up. And then this candle, I've got my last 50 shares sitting here. I have my stop at 56 because 56.20 was where I shorted. I had my stop at 56. So if we did get the average, 7-8 cent slippage, I would still be at break even. Well, unfortunately, I had it at 56. I got a 70 cent slippage on this one candle. And this is what, I had a stop market, which I put that on there because, sometimes this thing can blow through your limit order, never fill it, and just keep going. So I want my orders to fill. I have never, ever got a 70 cent, a 70 cent slippage on this. Never. I've had 20, 25 cents before. Never 70 cents. And this is something that a simulator, you're not going to run into this in a simulator. So this is why I tell you always start trading small. Because if you were in this pretty heavy and this thing ran up and took you out, this could be psychologically devastating to you. So me only being in 50 cents, 50 shares, yeah, that still upset me. I was still a little bent buy it. But we were only talking about, $35. So, I was able to kind of deal with that. Now, if we were talking $350, that might have been another story. But always, this is why I say trade small when you start, so that when things like this happen, when you go live, it's not gonna really devastate you as much. So here I waited again. We rejected. I took it short again, and my ultimate target was here at around 59.34, 59.36ish, and this is where I thought we were going to hit rock bottom. I mean, honestly, this is where I thought we were going to hit rock bottom. But we did fall through another point. But, I got out here. This cover was a little bit too early. I don't know what I saw. I saw something that caused me to take some off here. And then I took some more off here. I was actually in 300 shares this time, I believe. Or was I? Let me see. No, I'm going backwards. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was short 300 shares this time. So I took it off. I took off 100 here at 45 because we were having trouble at 50, and it was just sitting there, kind of like it was doing here before it made this huge run up. So I ended up just taking some off, and then we got the fall. So here was my next target right here at the 85 level, 54.85. So I took some off here, and then I took a quarter position off here at 54, and then ended up taking some at 53.56. Didn't really let it get, it was about 20 cents too early, but still a decent trade. I got the meat of the move. And that's all we can ask, is to get the meat of the move. And when you're in chat, I'm talking you through, you're seeing these trades live. This is streamed live. My entries, the chart, everything, you see it happen live. And I'm explaining to you what I'm seeing. I'm explaining to you what I'm seeing in the price action. What's causing me to make the decisions that I'm making. So you could see and get a picture of what I'm seeing. And when you go back and study and you do things, after the fact, you're able to kind of develop your own eye. Most of the successful people in this world had some model of somebody who was successful and that has been through and gone through what they're going through, and that could guide them through it. And that's what I try to be for everybody. A lot of people are starting where I started. They're going through the same things I went through. And I'm trying to teach them the way that I learned. And yeah, it's slow. Yeah, it's a process. But when that foundation is built, there's no natural disaster that's going to be able to destroy it. It's always going to be there for you. Because I've always said, if I lost everything and started back over with $1,500, I'd be fine. I know how to take my time. Even though, in October, I kind of lost my mind there for a minute. But I could take my time, and I know exactly what I need to do in order to grow my account to where I can get loosened up and start making some decent trades. And so now we got a little cushion in the account. I can take trades. I can allow trades to work. I can take a little bit bigger size. I'm comfortable trading it. And that's what you have to do. We have to go through these progressions. And that's what you see. It's live and in color. There's no guessing as to whether I'm trading this if I'm telling you I'm trading it, because you're seeing it as it happens. And I think that is real key. So pretty good on one stock. This is exactly what I like to do. This is the way that I traded, that I was successful. Lock in on one stock and trade that sucker. I keep my stocks on my watch list all day. And, when one runs out, if I see another one that I had on watch starting to do something, then I'm going to go trade it. But ideally, you want to work the same stock all day. If it's volatile and if it's giving you the moves, you work it all day. No need for me to go anywhere. After commission, 762.71. No need to go anywhere else. If I could have been jumping around and ended up with $200 or $300 profit, would I have been happy with that? Yeah. But this is a home run. It's not, an out of the park home run. This is kind of a in the park home run. It's what this turns out to be. So real pleased with that. And, we just started covering this strategy in class. So if you want to join and get in on the classes, you pay one subscription and you get it. You can see exactly how we choose these stocks, what our trigger is to enter. I've already told you how I pick profit targets, but you hear me talk about it live in chat, talking through the trade, giving you my trade plan. So you know exactly what I'm looking at before it gets there. All right, so in honor of Thanksgiving, and because I've had such overwhelming support this year from everybody, it's just been a beautiful first year, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. So I know there's a lot of guys that you might have spent a whole lot of money somewhere else, and you just feel disenchanted and isolated and left alone. That's not the type community that we have. I talk to you guys. If you need to talk one-on-one about something, I don't mind chatting with you 5 or 10 minutes. That's what this is all about. So I have, extra seats in the chat room, and I'm offering them up for the month of December. Actually, if you join now, you get immediate access. So you'll get a free week or almost 2 as soon as you join. But you get immediate access to the community and the live classes that we do every week. Now, once I fill these seats, I can't take any more because you wouldn't be able to get in if you wanted to. I have limited amount of seats that I paid for through Omnovia, and they're just sitting there. So why not offer a special, try to get people in, and let's see if we can get you ready for next year and make 2017, the best year, the start of a new life for you. So all you need to do is go to my webpage, averagejoetrader.com. You'll see the Thanksgiving picture there. Right under it, all you have to do is click. It's not a subscription, so it's not a recurring anything. It's just a one-time deal, and give you, time to spend a month and, see if you really want to join us for next year. And if you like what you see the trades like we took today, you like the commentary, how we're talking through it, trying to help you develop your style and understand what you're seeing in the price action, and being able to understand when there's a shift and the stock may be moving the other way. These are things that you want to be able to identify. And it's going to help you be a more consistent and successful trader. And guys, these strategies are scalable. They're 100% scalable. So instead of me trading 200 shares, I could have traded 400 shares and double my profits today. I could have traded 600 shares. Really, I had enough buying power to trade more. But I'm staying true, staying in my lane, not jumping out. I'm focusing on growing, developing that skill, being consistent. And when you do that, you stay green. You stay green. And every week, we're seeing more and more traders that have never been green ever finishing a week green. And it's an amazing thing. So you guys, if you're not part of it, come on and check us out. As soon as I fill all the seats, then I'm gonna pull it. I don't even know how many seats I have open, but I'll know once I type in the last one and it's done. So come on in. Like I said, if you join tonight, tomorrow, you get immediate access. You don't have to wait till December, so all of these days will be free. All right, so that's going to do it for me. I hope to see you guys in chat. So have a great night, a great evening, and I will see you on the other side.